My name is Stella Jeong, and I was lonely, and this is how Christ changed my perspective. For all my life, I presented myself as a friendly and social person, and I made efforts to know a large amount of people, and trying to be in various friend circles and groups. And I made this a very integral part of my life, and ultimately this became something that actually started to define who I was, and I started to find that this is something I found value in, that I found value in the people that I knew and how many people I actually knew. So the problem with that was that it seemed that no one actually ended up knowing me. The more people that I actually began to become friends with, I realized it became too thin. I just was essentially spreading myself too thin within friend groups, and I realized that no one had invested in me as much as I had invested in them. And because of that, I was always the one who was left out, the one who was forgotten. And I began to notice that a lot of these moments began to develop this sense of disappointment in myself. There were a few moments in IU where I'd feel so incredibly lonely that even with those people around me, like physically around me, that I just felt like no one had actually reached out to me. There were moments where even small disappointments, like a friend forgetting to call me even after they had promised, or sometimes even just a small cancellation of dinner, began to pile up into a very deep sense of disappointment in myself. All of this I began to expect things of people that could never be fulfilled, and it just ultimately seemed like a one-sided exchange of my time and effort that I got nothing in return for. And it took a whole semester of a lot of sad, lonely nights to make me realize that I was trying to fill my heart and emptiness with something that wasn't the right thing all along. God time and time again proved to me that He was the only thing that could fulfill my heart, that would never fail, and that would never disappoint it. The lonely nights that I would spend alone in my room as a freshman, I would journal and essentially converse with God, and only in those moments did I actually feel true fulfillment with the Lord in a sense. In those moments that people had disappointed me, it was only God that was always there, never failing, and always present. The song One Thing Remains has a lyric that says, "Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out of me." And I hold that dear to my heart, because God truly never fails me. And in Joshua 1:5, God says, "No one will be able to stand up against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you." And in those moments that people may disappoint or may forget, God never fails, and I and Him have never